Hey, sixth grade, let's talk about types of conflict this afternoon. So you should have this handout that you received from me in class today. And if not, then if you'll look on Edmodo, there is a file that you can go ahead and download. And if you can't have access to a printer to download that, then just draw some little stick figures that look similar to this and we'll call it good. It'll be fine. Okay, so we have five main types of conflicts that you might encounter in a short story. And so I'm just going to work from the top and go down. So the very first type of conflict that you might see is this one right here. And so this is where you have character versus self. So this stick figure just simply represents one character. So out beside this, if you'll just go ahead and write character versus self. This is the type of conflict when we have a character who is struggling with something internally. So this is all about something that's going on inside their head or inside their heart somehow. So it's all about an internal struggle. And so character versus self could simply be something like depression that they have. It could be a choice that they have to make over something that they're kind of agonizing over. Maybe they're really worried about something that's about to happen. Maybe there's a decision. Well, I guess it's the same thing as a choice. But basically, this is just anything that they have going on inside their head or inside their heart. So even, like a heartbreak could fall under this particular category. Okay, so that's character versus self. The next type of conflict that we typically encounter is character versus character, not character versus ninja. That's just the best stick figure I could find to use. So character versus character. So this is our true protagonist versus antagonist. This is Batman versus the Joker. This is SpongeBob versus Squidward or the Flying Dutchman. This is when you have two characters who, are pretty much in opposition somehow. So it doesn't have to be a fist fight. They don't have to duke it out. It doesn't have to be an argument necessarily. It's just that somehow these two characters oppose one another. So this is character versus character. So again, this is our true protagonist. Pro is good. So this is the good main character. Protagonist versus antagonist. And ant or anti usually means against. So that's why we have antagonist. Okay, so this is one main character versus the other character. A lot of the times in our fairy tales, we have this particular conflict. All right, moving right along, our third type of conflict is going to be character versus nature. And so that tornado kind of represents any type of climactic weather event. And so character versus nature is usually something that occurs outside somehow. So this could be with a tornado, a hailstorm, a monsoon, a hurricane, an earthquake, a volcano erupting, a bear attack, a dog attack, stepping in a fire ant colony. This can be anything basically to where you have something involved in nature that is going against that particular character. So character versus nature. So I'm just going to list a few of those things here. So we basically have any weather, related events. Even around here, it's a dust storm. That's character versus nature right there. So weather-related events that can occur, anything involving animals. So maybe it's a shark attack in the ocean. That's character versus nature. Okay. Next one. This is where we have one character versus a group of other characters. So if you think about the movie Footloose, we have one character who's kind of standing up to the town because they don't want to allow dancing, whereas he feels like there's nothing wrong with it. And so this is character versus society. So society is just basically like a group of people. It could be 3 or 4. It could be an entire community. It could be an entire country. It's just going to be when your character is versus a group of people. If you think about the Hunger Games, Katniss, for the most part, is up against the entire government. And so character versus society is pretty popular in dystopian, futuristic type novels. So character versus society. So society involves a group. So this could be a town, again, an entire country. You know, when we had Edward Snowden last year, who basically leaked out NSA secrets and was kind of a whistleblower for the U.S. government. It was basically that one dude against our, you know, pretty much our entire government system. So it can be big, it can be small, but it's character versus society. All right, that leads us to our last one and our most newest, not most newest, just our newest type of conflict, which is character versus supernatural. Yes, folks, that is a vampire that you see there. Vampire stick figures, who knew? All right, so we have character versus supernatural. Character versus supernatural has become very popular lately because everybody loves a good fantasy story. So we have vampires, werewolves, zombies, oh my gosh, so many different ones I can't even think of. Fairies. They don't have to necessarily be a bad type of character, but it's just something that is not, it's not human. It's some type of a creature, really. So it's when we have our character versus something, and it could be as simple as a ghost. So supernatural is any type of creature, again, like a zombie, vampire, ghost, werewolf, fairy, any of the sort. Okay, so just to go back very quickly in review, so we have 5 main types of conflict that could occur in stories. We have the internal conflict, which is going to be character versus self, where they struggle with something inside of their head or their heart. And we have character versus character, where one guy is kind of against the other. And I say guy, it could be a girl. Protagonist versus antagonist is really what that one's all about. We have character versus nature, so this is anything related to the weather, anything involving animals, just basically anything that you could find outside that causes problems. Next is character versus society, and this involves one character versus a group of other people. And then we end with character versus supernatural. It could be just any of those fantasy type creatures that we read and watch stories about now. All right, that's it, folks. So types of conflict. So look over your notes, be familiar with these, because you're going to see more to come in class.